Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to today's Monkey Mind Moving Meditation. Good morning. For those of you that are new to these, my name's Angie, and I started these Monkey Mind Moving Meditations as a way or another tool that we can use when we're when we want to receive the benefits of meditation. For many people, myself included, to do seated meditation is really challenging, especially when we're really amped up, really anxious, full of stress. And for many people, the holidays can be a very stressful time. So these moving meditations are a way to kind of rhythmically start to tap into some movement, I'm going to use the term rhythm again, some fluidity in our bodies to help quiet what's called the monkey mind, which is either another name for our brain, or it's a part of our brain that's always screaming, always yelling. Think of a monkey. It's throwing things, it's chattering. Mine, I'm pretty convinced, is a howler monkey because my brain is always howling, it feels like. So these moving meditations, these rhythmic movements, are a way to kind of start to quiet that part of our brain, or our entire brain for some of us, into quietness, not stillness, but into kind of a settledness in order to receive the benefits of meditation. So let's get started. And this can be done either standing or seated. If you're going to do it standing, bring your feet to a comfortable distance where you can really start to ground down into your feet where you feel supported. If you want to do this seated, totally works. But pressing with your sitting bones, that's one of the big differences, as well as pressing with your feet. So starting to root down into whatever points of contact you have into whatever is supporting you. And while you come into this, maybe start to bring a gentle sway. Definitely I'm going to stand. My nervous system is pretty active right now. So you can bring a gentle sway to this, just kind of starting to tap into the rhythm of your body. If you're seated, you can do a sway. Maybe notice if front to back feels better for you, or if side to side is a little bit better. And then check in with your feet, or check in with whatever's in that point of contact. Notice maybe what it feels like. Maybe as you bend your knees, if you want, starting to warm up a little bit, maybe getting a little bounce. And just checking in. Maybe looking around your space, noticing if there's anything that maybe draws your eye because it's a particular color that's appealing to you, or if there's something that maybe you didn't realize was in there. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a hammer that's sitting on my desk, which is kind of random that it's there. So just notice if there's something that can anchor you, or if you look at it, it can be a visual anchor to bring you back to the present moment. Because for most of us, our monkey minds are going to wander, and so to have a visual something that will bring you back can be really helpful. So as you keep this, either this sway, this bounce, maybe if you want, rolling your shoulders, starting to get a little bit more movement, a little more activation. And before we get too much further into today's meditation, if you have any health concerns, definitely reach out to a healthcare professional. Make sure that your body is able to handle movement. And then if you have any questions specifically, follow up with a yoga instructor. Feel free to reach out to me. If anything feels uncomfortable in your body, stop or ease back and find movement that does not create discomfort for you. So today's meditation, I was talking about some rhythm and some fluidity, which is what we're going to actually work into today. There's a quote by Jack Johnson that says, "When you move like a jellyfish, rhythm is nothing. You go with the flow. You don't stop." Jack Johnson. So we're going to pretend like our hands are jellyfish today. So this is called jellyfish hands. And so jellyfish are kind of these gelatinous sea creatures that have this movement between kind of being rounded out, and then they flatten out, and then they come back to rounding. This is kind of how they move in the water. And then they have these little tentacles that come down off this kind of head that the jellyfish have. So we're going to pretend like our hands are jellyfish. And you have a couple of different options how you want to do this, and maybe explore changing halfway through. But thinking about, or the first way, bring your hands out to the sides and just start to make these movements like jellyfish make, coming up, drawing together, and then spreading out. And as you do, maybe spread every single one of your fingers. See if you can stretch into your hands. And then fluidly just bringing them up and opening them out, like how jellyfish would move. You can have your hands being independent of each other. You can pretend like one hand is the top of a jellyfish and the other hand are the tentacles, so moving together. Or you can periodically, if you're doing each individual hand, you can then sometimes pretend like you're the tentacles floating out. So it's really just going to be this movement, letting the hands move, finding your own rhythm with expanding your hands and contracting, finding the fluidity of your jellyfish hands. Drawing out wide, maybe if you're doing different hands, do them at different paces. Letting your arms get involved. So imagine that your arms and your hands are just floating in the water. Lengthening up, the jellyfish just kind of play around. Jellyfish hands. And as you do, expanding your fingers, feeling the whole stretch through each one of your metacarpals, each one of your fingers. Stretching out jellyfish hands. And then if you want, pretend that you're the tentacles. As you're floating in the water, start to move your fingers like your fingers are jellyfish tentacles. Notice as I start to do that, I notice that really only the middle 3 fingers move for me. My thumb and my pinky finger don't like to move. So notice, maybe that's the same for you. Maybe that's a little bit different. And then moving either with your breath or at whatever rhythm you want. Jellyfish hands. Expanding your fingers, drawing them together. Letting your arms float, finding this fluidity like you're in the water. Moving at whatever rhythm you want. Moving, like I said, with your breath, or if you want to have asynchronous rhythm or a rhythm that doesn't move with your breath, move at whatever pace you want. Imagine just floating in the water, expanding your fingers wide. Imagine letting the water drip through them as you come back to your jellyfish. And then maybe switching, if you're doing the independent hands, maybe coming into the tentacles. If you're trying hands together, can you have those 2 separate moments or 2 separate movements? For me, I tend to end up letting my fingers either both be jellyfish or be both tentacles. So whichever movement feels good to you. Jellyfish hands, expanding the fingers wide, finding your own rhythm, but keeping that fluidity like you're just floating in the water. Hands expanding wide, coming back together. Maybe making circles with your jellyfish hands. And then maybe coming back to tentacle fingers. And imagine that they're floating in the water and able to stretch and expand beyond the other tentacles. And then a few more rounds of either switching back and forth or finding which one feels most comfortable to you. Big stretching in the hands. Jellyfish hands. I like mine to have kind of an asynchronous so that they're not necessarily doing the same thing. It keeps my monkey mind a little more focused. So reaching out, maybe switching, coming to the tentacles. Just a few more. Maybe if you've been moving with your breath, try moving at a different pace, something that isn't your breath. just making movements whenever you want. And if you were doing that already, that asynchronous movement, maybe try moving with your breath if you want to explore some different ways of moving. And these last few rounds, maybe switching to your tentacle fingers, letting the water flow through them, making your own rhythm, your own fluidity. You can keep the sway going, but notice, if you can, bringing some awareness to your hands. Are you feeling much more activation in your hands than when we first started? Are you feeling more of your fingers? More areas in your palms? Maybe switching one more time to tentacle fingers. Notice if your thumb and your pinky, like mine, don't like to move as much. And then last round of breath, if you're moving with breath, taking a big inhale, making any last jellyfish swimming motions you want with your hands, and an exhale if breath is comfortable for you. Beautiful. And then bring your arms down to your sides. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs if you want. Notice that's a lot of work. I feel that a lot in my forearms by the time I'm done with that. So just notice maybe where you're feeling it. Maybe you feel it someplace different. Maybe you feel it in your upper arms a little bit more. So with that, shaking it all out, and then bring your hands to whatever represents your center or your core. Maybe it's one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart. Maybe it's both hands over your heart. Maybe it's hands in prayer. And as you do, just check in again, noticing what sensations you feel under your feet. Notice how maybe it feels different internally now that we just worked at finding our own rhythm. Maybe that didn't feel good, and that's okay. And then whatever it is, blinking your eyes open, shake it out. Bringing your right hand to half prayer, placing it towards the center of your chest, right elbow out. Left hand, all four fingers and thumb together. And then as dramatically as you want, give yourself a high five, hands coming into prayer. Thank your amazing body for all the wonderful work that it does for you on a daily basis. Bring the base of your thumbs up to that point between your two eyes to your third eye, and thank your amazing mind for letting you explore your own rhythm. And then hands come back to heart center. Thank you all so much for coming and meditating with me today. I see, honor, and bow to all of you. Beautiful job. Let me know what you thought of that. Let me know how that felt. Let me know if you have any questions. And then if you like these videos, please like and share. Follow me on social media. On Facebook, my name is AB Yoga Info. On Instagram, it's AB_yoga_info. The info separates me from abdominal yoga workouts. And then let me know if you have any questions, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.